Well, what do we have here? So as all of you are probably pretty well aware of at this point, yesterday title update 1.13 came out for Modern Warfare, and needless to say, it was a complete and utter mess. Today we're going to be going over this mess of an update and looking at everything secret that was added during this update, because yes, there were some secrets, yes, there were some stealth nerfs and buffs to certain things that they for some reason didn't put in the patch notes. They said they were going to stop doing that, but apparently they're just going to keep doing it anyway. And on top of that, some of the things that they said were going to be in the patch that they fixed were not. So we're going to go over all of those things today, clear up any confusion, but to start things off, let's start with the big one, the secrets that they added in, the thing that we led off at the beginning of the video with. Let's go talk about ghosts. So this actually all began a couple of months ago when we started to see an Easter egg within several different maps that showed off Ghost's face on some blurry televisions. Basically, these static televisions were there since launch, but upon an update, all of a sudden, Ghost's face was appearing on them. And I've made a couple of videos talking about a little bit more in-depth analysis as to what this could actually mean, but in yesterday's update, update 1.13, this was added on Piccadilly. Obviously, this is a very different face than we were seeing on the other televisions, but it's definitely still advertising Ghost. And I think the most obvious answer to what's going on here is that they are teasing Ghost to come out with Season 2. So as you can very clearly see here, the Ghost face appears across several different billboards on Piccadilly. And in fact, it's not the only spot on Piccadilly where this appears. In a random storefront window, you can see a TV screen where once again, the same Ghost face appears separately. Now, once again, I do think that this is going to be teasing for a new character, Ghost, or the Ghost of Verdansk, coming to Modern Warfare within Season 2, but it is interesting as this Ghost face does look a little bit different than the one that we previously saw on the other TV screens, but for that, only time will tell. The second little secret that we've got here is actually in the store in the Stone Warrior bundle. If you actually check out the new finishing move called Trick Shot, it actually shows something a little bit weird. As you can see, the person goes to stab the other character in the neck, but can't quite get there. But as it turns out, they have some sort of ballistic knife, a weapon that currently isn't in Modern Warfare. But the weirder part of it all, the ballistic knife has never been in an Infinity Ward Call of Duty game, only in Treyarch games. So it'll be interesting to see if this is something they add in the future or not, as very clearly it's programmed in the game, at least in this finishing move. Now, let's move and talk a little bit about the patch. So, first things first, some of you who downloaded the patch yesterday may have gotten the error that you're seeing on screen here, saying your data is corrupt or didn't download properly. You must reset your rank and unlocks to continue. Unfortunately, if you pressed yes on this, you did get reset to rank 1 and all of your unlocks are gone. Apparently, Infinity Ward is trying to make a fix where it'll go back to the way it was before, your rank will be restored. But as of right now, this is still a problem for some people. This, in my opinion, might be the biggest screw up in a update for a Call of Duty game that I have ever seen. Now, there is a way of getting around this. Apparently, when your game is connecting to online servers, when you boot it up, if you're getting this error, all you gotta do is, while it's connecting to online servers, press back or circle, and it'll take you out of that, and it will say, do you want to play offline? Press yes, then your game should update properly, and you should be able to play, but for some people it's still not working. Like I said, this is pretty much the biggest screw up I've ever seen in an update for any game really ever. Now there are two pretty big changes that they did not include in the patch notes. I don't know why, and one of them is actually extremely large. The first one is if you're playing any objective game modes before this update, any captured objectives or completing objectives would make your field upgrade go faster. In other words, you would get it quicker. Now, objectives do not count for your field upgrade whatsoever, so you can't earn Dead Silence faster by playing the objectives, which to me is horrible because there's already basically no incentive to play the objectives in this game because kill streaks are in here, not score streaks. So already people aren't playing the objectives, and now by doing this, there's really no way of incentivizing players to actually play the objectives. It doesn't even help you get dead silence or become a better soldier with other field upgrades whatsoever. One, this may be a bug with the update, or two, they really should have included a reason why they did this, because to me, it doesn't really make any sense. I'm curious what you guys think about this one. The other stealth change that they made was actually to a map, Crash, which is one of the DLC maps that's come out since launch. And on this map, they added a new area with a new head glitch. Now, what they did is they made these kind of air conditioning units much, much larger, and now, if you're kind of doing this head glitch here, much more of your body is exposed to get shot at. I think this is an awesome solution to the problem that this new update made, because with this new version of Crash, a lot of people were camping on this head glitch, and they were very hard to pick off as basically only their head showed. Now, most of their body, or at least like half of their body, is showing, and they're much easier to shoot. It was a really good solution to the problem that this created, and I think a really welcome change. Now we're going to move into the section of the video where we once again look at the patch notes from yesterday that were just wrong. Like, literally, they just wrote things in the patch notes that were not true, and I don't know how exactly they do that, but they did. So thing number one revolves around the RAM 7. So the RAM 7, they put in the patch notes that they were increasing the extended mag from 45 rounds to 50 rounds. They just didn't do that. I don't know why, but it's not in the game. So the extended mags on this is still 45 rounds. The next one has to do with field upgrades, specifically stopping power rounds. Basically, in the patch notes, they wrote that they were fixing the way that stopping power rounds worked with headshots, so they should be dealing the proper amount of damage. They actually did the opposite. Now certain weapons, the amount of damage doesn't even work to the body. The Odin and the Fal aren't dealing extra damage to the body, and they aren't dealing the proper amount of damage to the head either. So they screwed that one up too. Now, they also said that they fixed a bug that allowed player collision. They said this had been fixed. It has not been fixed. There is still player collision. It's still, you run into teammates, it bumps you a little bit. On top of that, it kind of slows you down or stops you from moving, and then you can move through them. It's just not working properly, and clearly they didn't fix that either. Now, the one thing that they did do is they did greatly reduce the amount of recoil for the Scar. Now, the patch notes were wrong. It wasn't horizontal recoil, it was vertical, but I mean, at least they actually did something to that weapon. And all jokes aside, I really do think this weapon still needs a bit more of a buff. I would probably improve the fire rate a little bit and aim down sights time a little bit, but other than that, at least they did something to it. So let's just get real for a minute here. Let's put all of the jokes aside and actually talk about what the hell happened during this update. So first things first, with this update, it screwed up a lot of people's games. It made it so that their level was reset, that all of their progress that they have put into Modern Warfare was gone just like that. That alone is a pretty big screw up. But on top of that, the patch itself was really weird, especially on PlayStation. It was a relatively large 18 gigabyte patch or something like that, and then after you downloaded it, you go to play the game, and then it gives you two other separate downloads, one for multiplayer and one for Spec Ops. Very strange way of doing an update. And then after that, you go ahead and read the patch notes. Not only were some of the patch notes just wrong, the things that they said were changing did not change. On top of that, some of the things that changed were not in the patch notes. On top of all of this, this took place a week and a half after they came out and said, listen, we know we haven't had the proper amount of communication with our community. We're going to be better from here. We're going to be putting out more communication every single week. And then this happens. It is very, very strange. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes over at Infinity Ward, but something is out of place or not working properly, because there's something weird going on. There has to be at this point. But it is looking like Ghost is going to be coming to the game. We're 19 days around the corner from Season 2, so at least there is that to look forward to. This update, though, was just straight up strange. So, and I'm probably missed some of the stealth changes that they have made to the game, because this is just one day after the update, so I'm sure there's some things that I missed. So if I did miss anything, feel free to let me know down in the comments. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it's always appreciated if you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, like what you see here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn notification on. It's the best way to stay up to date on everything Call of Duty. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.